Today we are discussing affections of gallbladder in sheep and goats and its interpretation. Many times we may get problems for the interpretation of the gallbladder consistency, then the appearance and everything. So we are going to discuss different affections of gallbladder in sheep and goat and their interpretation while writing the postmortem reports. Basically, we can divide the different affections in different categories like shape, size, color, consistency of bile, then the color of bile. So like that, shape of gallbladder may be normal size, enlarged one, shrunken one, or the smaller one. Then shape of the gallbladder may be round, may be elongated, may be uneven, maybe the wrinkles are there on the gallbladder. So like that, the color may be dark, dark green, yellow, pale, red, or black in color. Then consistency of bile, it may be thick, it may be watery, it may be cloudy, it may be granular, it may be having the clots, it may be sticky, and it may be slimy. So that is about the consistency of the bile which is present in the gallbladder. Then color of bile, it could be green, it could be yellow, it could be pale green, it could be pale yellow, red, brown, or coffee colored. So these are the different things we can observe during the postmortem examination of the sheep and goat. The mechanism of emptying of the gallbladder includes neurohormonal reflex get activated when perfectly chewed bolus or the feed is or feed material sent to abomasum through ruminal and reticular peristalsis. So whenever the animal consume the feed, it will go to the rumen, then it will be soaked in the water and the digestive enzymes, or saliva. Then the bolus will come to the mouth, again rechewed and sent into the rumen, and the slurry it get pushed towards the reticulum. From reticulum it will push further towards the abomasum. Then there is a release of gastrin hormone. So after whenever there is a pushing of the ruminal content or ingesta from rumen to reticulum and reticulum to abomasum, there is a release of gastrin. Then along with that gastrin, there is a PGE hormones get secreted. The prostaglandin E hormone gets secreted. Then there is a emptying of abomasum ingesta into duodenum. It could stimulate the neuromuscular receptor, and the contraction of smooth muscles of the gallbladder starts, and the bile it get excreted or it get released into the duodenum. Then after that, whatever the quantity of bile is required, it will be emptied into the duodenum for the enzymatic digestion process of the feed or the food which has been given to the animals. Now, if anything which can alter or interfere this mechanism may lead to the either distension of the gallbladder or the retention of the gallbladder or the retention of bile. So anything that has been changed the normal physiological mechanism of the emptying of the gallbladder may lead to the either excess of release of gallbladder bile or excess of stimulation may lead to the excess of secretion of bile into the duodenum, and if something is happened, that may lead to the retention of large amount of bile, that may lead to the distension of gallbladder. So these are the simple mechanism which plays important role for the pathological conditions in the gallbladder pathology. Now we can see the normal ratio of the gallbladder to liver is 1:10. Approximately it is 1:10, means the size of gallbladder is 1 and size of liver would be 10. So like that, there is a change in the alterations of the size and shape of the gallbladder, and accordingly we can say it is enlarged one, it is a shrunken one, it is a atrophied one. So like that, enlarged gallbladder, the ratio is not maintained. If you see over here, the size of liver is this much and the size of gallbladder is this much. So extensively enlarged gallbladder can be seen. Here the same mechanism is there. There is a retention of bile that leads to the enlargement of the gallbladder. Then again another case with the same type of things, but here you can see the color of bile is different. Here color of bile is different. The content of the gallbladder is a little bit more greenish. Here they are little bit yellowish in color. Then here you can see some of the spots, they are present, or the small caseous nodules, they are present over here on the surface of gallbladder. So that also interfere with the normal emptying mechanism of the gallbladder. Then enlarged gallbladder with a red colored bile and wrinkles. So here you can see if such type of gallbladder is there, it will have some problems with the gallbladder and a duct. If you see the duct, it contains the reddish type of bile, and also the content of the gallbladder is reddish in color. So this could be observed because of the injury, maybe due to the fasciola hepatica that lead to the many blood clots into the lumen of the gallbladder, and further we can see many blood clots or the blood red color bile into the gallbladder. Then enlarged gallbladder with pale green color bile. So here you can see the color of gallbladder is green, pale, but having the much more froth inside it. So that could be also one of the reason whenever there is excessive production of the bile, and it is get complicated by the some gas producing organism like Clostridial infection. In that case, we can see the froth which can be present into the gallbladder. Again, the enlarged gallbladder with the 1:10 ratio is not maintained. Here we can see the flabbiness of the gallbladder. So up till now we can able to observe the different gallbladders. They are having the tense consistency, but here you can see the shape of the gallbladder has been changed. It looked like a pendulous one, and it's uneven, and it is a flabby one. Flabby type of gallbladder is there. Then contracted gallbladder, 1:10 ratio is not maintained. Intrahepatic inflammation and less production of bile. Though whatever the ratio is there, it has been not mentioned. So less than 1:10 ratio is not maintained, and this is because of the intrahepatic inflammation of the bile, intrahepatic inflammation of the hepatocytes, that may lead to the pressure over the bile canaliculi, and that may lead to the less production of the bile. So that lead to the again the contraction of the smaller type of gallbladder. Again, here you can see very contracted one gallbladder and having the pale or the white color bile. So again, it indicates that there is an intrahepatic injury, intrahepatic inflammation that may lead to the pressure over the bile canaliculi and will not produce that much of bile, and that's why the whatever the material is there in the gallbladder, it is of the pale color, and the whole gallbladder is look contracted and white in color because of the fibrous connective tissue proliferation. Again, here you can see the wrinkles are there on the surface of the gallbladder. Here you can see that there is a contraction of the gallbladder. The less production of bile. Bile is less produced because of the intrahepatic injury, intrahepatic inflammation. The similar type of reaction over here, the 1:10 ratio is not maintained, and intrahepatic inflammation, less production of bile is there. Here, if you see over here, the complete contraction or the complete loss of gallbladder is there, and if you see throughout the liver parenchyma, the multiple fibrotic changes are present over here. You can see the fibrosis over here, fibrosis over here, fibrosis over here. So ultimately, the fibrosis which look from the outside or by the naked eyes, the similar type of fibrosis can be observed microscopically. That's why the much more production of the bile is not there, and very less production of bile is there. That's why there is a contraction or the atrophy of the gallbladder can be seen in such type of condition. This could be because of the multiple toxins or the many toxins they are retained in the liver, and that lead to the chronic inflammatory reaction. Besides that, the chronic venous congestion is one of the factor which may lead to the intrahepatic fibrosis and lead to the shrinkage of the gallbladder and less production of the bile. Again, the similar, you can see very contracted type of gallbladder and multiple fibrosis throughout the liver parenchyma. The wrinkles and inflammation. So this could be observed because of these so many conditions that like the fasciola, you can see some of the fasciola are present over here. The rupture of liver parenchyma, blood clots are there, and along with that, the some of the inflammatory reaction they are present over the surface of the gallbladder. A contracted gallbladder with the wrinkles, this also present many times. Now, factors which can lead to the enlargement of the gallbladder. So whenever there is no stimulus from the abomasum, definitely there is a delayed emptying, or the emptying is hampered, and that's why that lead to the enlargement of the gallbladder. Then anorexia, whenever the animal is anorectic, the sheep and goats are not able to consume the regular feed, water, as well as the green, as well as the concentrate. In that case, the complete anorexia is there, and that lead to the production of the production of the bile, but not emptying of the bile because of the lack of stimulation from the upper portion of the bile duct. So that is the abomasum. Then foreign bodies in rumen and reticulum. Whenever there are presence of foreign bodies in the rumen and reticulum, that may interfere with the pushing of the ruminal ingesta or the reticular ingesta towards the abomasum, and because of the pain, there is no emptying of the rumen or the reticulum and abomasum. That may lead to the distension of gallbladder, that because of the foreign body present in the rumen or reticulum. Then foreign bodies in gallbladder, like gallstone. Many times gallstones are there. Then sometimes there is a presence of fasciola hepatica that may interfere with the normal emptying of the gallbladder, and that may lead to the enlargement of the gallbladder. Then inflammation, cholecystitis, then infections like anaplasma, fasciola, clostridial infection. In all these conditions, there is a severe inflammation of the wall of gallbladder, and that may lead to the cholecystitis. And once there is a cholecystitis, there is a emptying of the gallbladder is not observed. Then weak muscles, especially the smooth muscles, those are required for the normal peristaltic movements. If they are weak in physiology, then they may not be able to empty the bile which is present in the bladder, and that may lead to the retention of bile. Then deficiency of calcium and vitamin A, also the one of the factor which is responsible for the delay emptying or the retention of bile for a longer period. Then vitamin A is essential for the maintaining the integrity of the epithelial cells of the gallbladder, and whenever there is a deficiency of vitamin A, that may lead to the retention of the bile, and it will be it will be seen as the retained or the enlarged gallbladder. Then B complex deficiency, similarly, it will be B complex is essential for the production of the bile or the normal integrity of the hepatocytes. So whenever there is no production of whenever there is a disturbances in the concentrating of the bile which is formed, that may lead to the excessive watery consistency of the bile, and that may lead to the distension of gallbladder. Then obstruction to the passage of the bile duct, that may lead to the retention of bile because of the enlarged lymph nodes, presence of cyst or the fibrosis. So all these conditions may lead to the enlarged gallbladder. Now we can see the factors which are responsible for the contracted type of gallbladder or the shrinkage of the gallbladder. So intrahepatic inflammation and pain. Whenever there is a severe pain to the liver, severe pain to the bile duct or the bile canaliculi, and fibrosis may lead to the delay the transport of the preformed bile, and that may lead to the bile may not reach to the gallbladder, and that's why there is a contraction or the smaller size of the gallbladder. Then intralobular, periacinar, periportal fibrosis. So as we have discussed many pathological conditions earlier, in that case, whenever there is a fibrosis, in that case, whatever the bile which is formed by the hepatic portal or the hepatocytes may not reach to the gallbladder. In that case, there is a smaller size of the contracted type of gallbladder. Then blockage of bile canaliculi, maybe some clots or blood clots, mucinous clots, they may block the bile canaliculi. In that case, there is a retention of bile, and that bile will not reach to the gallbladder. Then prolonged deficiency and enteropathy. Whenever there is a deficiency of the all vitamins and minerals, then enteropathy, generally enteropathy, which is the term already we know that whenever there is a problem in the assimilation of the products or the assimilation of required nutrient, say for example, whenever there is a coccidiosis, whenever there is a chronic parasitism of the intestines, tapeworm infestation is there, then the chronic fibrosis of the intestinal wall, in all these conditions will come under the enteropathy. In enteropathy, assimilation of required nutrient is not there, and that lead to the low production of the bile, and that may not be passed from the hepatocytes to the gallbladder. Then diffuse necrosis of the hepatocytes. Many toxins are there, then the chemical toxins are there, poisons are there. In that case, there is extensive necrosis of the hepatocytes. Then that may lead to the lower production of the bile, and gallbladder looks empty. Then diffuse and degenerative changes like fatty changes, chronic venous congestion. So fatty changes may be due to the deficiency of the biotin. Then choline deficiency is there. In all these two conditions, the fatty liver is there. Once fatty liver is there, that much of bile is not produced by whatever the bile is produced will not be transported towards the gallbladder, and that's why there is a presence of contracted or the shrinkage type of gallbladders. Then chronic venous congestion, whenever there is a problem in the heart or the lungs, that may lead to the chronic venous congestion. In that case also, there is a prolonged hypoxia of the liver, and the hypoxia will convert it into the degeneration, followed by necrosis and followed by fibrosis. So in all these conditions, there is a low production of the bile, and the transportation of the bile from the bile canaliculi to the gallbladder is affected, and that's why the gallbladders are shrunken one, or they are smaller in size. So this is about the all these things which may lead to the changes in the size and consistency, or the size of the gallbladder. Now we can see the factor responsible for the changes in the bile color and consistency. The normal is a green color. Then dark green color is because of the dehydration. Whenever there is a severe dehydration, we can see very dark green color bile. Then yellow bile color will be observed in the intrahepatic dysfunction or the hepatic dysfunction. Then watery pale or the watery green, watery yellow is indication of the less production and poor conjugation, and intrahepatic abnormalities and less production. So intrahepatic abnormalities that we already discussed. So maybe intrahepatic fibrosis, necrosis, degeneration, fatty changes. In all these conditions, there is a less conjugation and may lead to the pale type of bile into the bile canaliculi and gallbladder. Then reddish, whenever there is excessive hemolysis like phosphorus deficiency, babesia, and leptospira. So red color bile is an indication of the excessive hemolysis. So liver is not able to cope up with the extensive hemolysis, and the conversion of the biles or the different bile will not be observed, and the excess of the hemobilirubin will be retained into the liver, and that may come into the gallbladder, and that lead to the appearance of the gallbladder as a reddish color bile in these conditions. So phosphorus deficiency, babesia, leptospira, and some of the clostridial infection that may lead to the reddish type of bile. Then slimy or the sticky type of bile can be seen in case of the acinar inflammation of the ducts. So whatever the ducts are there, they are lined by the cuboidal epithelial cells or the epithelial cells. There is a mucinous type of inflammation that may lead to the stickiness of the bile, and the consistency of the bile will be sticky or the slimy. Then blood, then red and blood clots can be seen in the intrahepatic injury, poisoning, and fascicular infection. So this is about the different changes that can be observed in the bile color and consistency. Thank you very much.